get Substance Painter open, and I'll show you some basic stuff, okay?
Teach me.
I'll be downloading it this soon.
Are we able to use the P3D files, or do we have to like delve even further?
Okay, so... Okay.
Sorry, people of the internet.
So, what you can do is, for P3Ds, that's an Arma 3 specific object. You need to convert the P3Ds into a .obj or .fbx. That you can only texture stuff if it has a UV map. And I'll get into all that later, okay? This P3Ds are not able to be textured because Substance Painter cannot read a file type known as P3D. They can only read .obj or .fbx.
Alright, things open.
Okay, you guys have this open? Alright, now this is the basic what it looks like. I have my materials down here, I have my texture set list here, I have my layers set here, properties and texture set settings on the top left. You can copy this format if you wish. I have this format this way, so it's very open. I can see what I'm doing. It's very clear and cut what I'm working with and how I'm working with it. So it's very easy for me it's very easy for me to be organized, okay? So, main thing that we do is we open a sample, okay? Because we're not going to we're going to do basic ass shit, okay? We're going to do the meat mat, okay? Alright, now this fucking bull boy over here, we're gonna just have his head, okay? Very top left, click File, you click Open Sample.
Open sample. Gotcha. And then meat mat. Got it.
Meat mat, yeah.
Oof. Yeah,
And in
no,
order to only have the head selected, you just select the eyeballs icon below the head. So I don't want to see the body, so I select the eyeball and the body disappears. I don't want to see the base, I select the eyeball and the base disappears. Now I'm left with this head.
Okay.
Now what we're able to do with this head is we're able to change the color, material, and the height of any object we use. You select a fill layer, and now we're able to change the color by clicking this base color below and changing the RGB to any selection.
Make it gray. Heat.
Now, since we're doing basic knowledge, we're not going to go too into depth about height, metal, roughness, or normal. We're going to go straight to color because you guys want to learn how to do basic texturing on base textures already made. You can even enter in key number values to change the object's specific color to a specific color you're wanting. What I'm doing is doing our unit's colors for our gray that we use. This is the gray that our unit used for the 104th ACE, okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Open. I'm going to open one of our specific files, which is a .ssp already that has the basic textures already saved for for our trooper template. Now, you guys might not have this, but I'll make sure to give this to you guys, okay? Now, this is the base model that has all the added stuff to it. Now, these do not have the default textures on them because I have been working on the bodies and heads most of the time. So I don't see the need to do that. And what you do to just get rid of them is select the eye like we learned before. Now, this isn't a base texture of what our unit looks like because the white is far brighter than it usually is. The way how we fix that is we add another fill layer, select multiply, and it's a little darker. Same with this one. Fill layer, put that under, make that multiply, and this is the type of shade we use for our unit. Okay? And now, the way how I'm moving stuff is I'm holding Alt, and I select left click to turn the object left, right, up, and down. I hold Control, I hold Shift to change the lighting, Shift and right click. And Alt and middle mouse button to pan up, down, left, or right. Once you've gotten used to it, it becomes second nature. You even forget what you're using. And of course the mouse wheel scroll in, or scroll back to scroll in, scroll
So you
in
said Alt is to go panning? Just like-
Alt, middle mouse button, pan.
Okay.
Alt, left click, turn.
E-
Shift right click to change the lighting. Now, this right here is our UV mat. This is basically the helmet and all its entirety of textures you're able to do. But it's taken from 3D and flattened on a 2D image. What we're able to do with this is we're able to change specific colors through this and reflect it on that. So if I want to make this fill layer that, while it's already multiplied, I can change it like that.
Ooh.
So you can just change the color just like that. And what I did was I did Control Z in order to undo, Control Y to redo. Control Z, undo, Control Y, redo. Okay? Alright. Now here's a little thing that I do when I texture models for our unit. I make another fill layer, right here. I change the color value to what we use on our unit. Now I know it looks weird so far, but bear with me. 153. You'll soon learn the color codes like I do. It's just I've had to use it so often. And you select multiply for this one. And you see, well, now the whole helmet's just gray. The way how you fix that is you right click the fill layer, select add black mask, and now it's not showing up because now you selected a black mask. Now what this allows us to do is go to a very fun tool that I do where you select polygons to paint. Now I can select specific polygons on the armor itself in order to make them look how I want. And now I have this different design on the helmet already by just doing a few simple clicks. If I want the whole helmet to be gray, the whole front, just select that tool. The tool I selected was the very top, which is the entire grid, so the UV chunk fill. And this is triangle fill, where you just select specific triangles. I like this, but I don't want it to look like that. So I press X to go to the opposite, and you press X again to fill it in. Okay.
Alright, so sorry, when you were doing the mask, you right clicked and you clicked add black mask?
You can also add white mask if you want instead. So this makes it where the entire helmet is showed, but you only replace certain things.
Oh, I see. It's like an invert of the other one.
Yes, exactly. Alright, now this is where stuff gets a little difficult because, one, you have to have some artistic skill at some points to do what you want, to do unique designs. So, what I recommend is you're drawing and you want to have certain spikes like right here, okay? Sometimes you have to just draw them out. And you have to make sure that you're drawing them specifically for the purpose of being, like, you know, visible, of course. And you also have to make sure it's following the design exactly how the person wanted, or the concept, I should say. Now, you know, this isn't a perfect spike, right? It's not. You gotta round it, you gotta get rid of the roundness, you gotta make it a spike. You have to make sure it connects. So I hold Control, right click, move to the left and right to change the side of the alpha. Now alpha is what you use for the drawing. It's selected here. You're able to change your alphas to anything you want. So if we want a specific alpha like the wolf pack symbol, we want that here. You can select that right here and actually erase it. So if I want to put a little cheek mark right here, have it be white. Yeah, you know, you do have to click several times because the alpha itself has opacity, like very high. And then you just do that. Now the only issue with that is I have to hold down Control Z for a little bit in order to get it to where it goes away. Another thing you're able to do is make it a gray wolf by pressing X like you usually do. And you just have it painted there. Now, that's how you use alphas. And you hold Control, right click, go up to change the hardness of it. So you can not have any issues. So basically the way hull hardness works, so I hold control down, I go across like this. You see how it has like a little fade on the outer layer of it? This is what it looks like with the hardness. Straight and very easy. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, what we're going to do next is I'm going to show you how we do our simplistic but intricate at times designs of our unit. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and just clear this. Alright. Now, this is the proper shade of helmet, right? We have this, and it's the proper shade. It's what we use. Now, sometimes you have to work with a texture that's already been made, right? So we're going to use the base CT helmet. And the way how you apply it is you click it, drag it to defuse, and now it's there. Now this is the old one, which is like a little darker than it should be, okay? So back in the day we had our armor like really dark and gray. It was like really gross. I mean, it's okay, and this is like a not poorly, it wasn't a good texture, right? So now, you know, in order to fix this, you have to at least have the shade the right color. And you also, well, the only reason it's the wrong color is because I have this applied. I forgot to tell y'all. But in order to have something the right color, you have to make sure that it's applied correctly. So what we need to do is add a white mask and erase this. And you see what happens if I erase it, it's completely gone. So what do we do with that? We have to add this. It should be base clone that. Yeah, okay. So now it looks like nasty as fuck, right? And now we have to fix that. See that? See how it cleans up?
Oh, yeah.
It's the same texture. It's just cleaned up a bit. Now you might be wondering, why is it so much shinier than the other one? Well, for one reason is because we haven't set the glossiness correct. Now you can always change the glossiness to this value. I used to do 0.3 because 0.3 is a magic number for this shit. Don't know why. It's what I decided on a long time ago. Now,
It's still very shiny.
well, it's not shiny. It's the white compared to the gray. But you know, disagree, agree, whatever. Now the whole helmet has been fixed that way. Now we can do the same up here. It's a little scary looking, but it is the proper way it should be. And this should be on multiply. And see, now it's the proper shade of white like this. But you're thinking like, well, why is this like that? Well, for one, we should apply that in order to fix it.
And now it's a lot lighter, and now it looks smooth.
Yeah.
Yeet!
You're able to
We're
just
learning so much.
click all that, and you see like, well, it's still not the right shade, right? It still doesn't look right. Well, that's because you also have to do it like this too. Sometimes you just gotta make shit work. See? Now it's the right shade. And you see the gray, it stays the same value, it's just you have to change how it looks. I could go on and on about, like, you know, touching all these specific parts of the helmet, but it'll just actually take more of your time away from actually learning stuff. So the way how Substance Painter textures work, it's all within the layers. It's all like how you do it and how you do it properly. So for instance, I could just, you know what, fuck it, I don't like this, let's make it camouflage. Wow, we have a camouflage looking trooper now. Or I wanna have that, but I want camouflage. But I want the same CT design. Bam, you have the spikes still. But it doesn't look right. So you're like, alright, we'll add a white mask. We'll just delete that. You know what I mean? It's quite simple. Just trial and error sometimes, guys. And then you erase it. Sometimes you have to be zoomed in to actually do what you want to do. Because you can't just... What I don't like people that half-ass stuff. So if you half-ass textures, the texture's going to look bad. It's not going to be good. Now it's okay if you have a little darkness around that, because sometimes it adds a little depth to it. Sometimes it doesn't. Just you have to delete it on your own like that. The way how I'm doing it and doing it in straight line, I'm holding shift. Hold shift click, hold shift, click. Be able to draw angular lines. See the difference between that gray and that? Makes a whole world of difference with that. So, you guys understand basics of how to do layers and how to make them look the way you want, the right shade how you want, within our units, regulations, and how we want stuff. Now, with this, sometimes you would need to make a base texture. Making a base texture isn't easy, and it's something that you need to actually understand what you're doing. So, for example, without this, the helmet looks like this. That's what it looks like without textures. It's not attractive, and it's not a good sight to see. Now, what someone did is they spent the time to make a base texture for all of this, just so it could look it could feel and look more like Star Wars. They did the same thing for the body. In order to select a different material, you select it specifically here, and it has a different UV map for the corresponding thing. So, for example, I want
A
some
red body.
Sure, I want a red body. Go, bam. Let's be red. A little,
Death Troopers.
Damn.
a little too epic for me, in my opinion.
That's a little too
A
emo.
little too epic.
A little too
Let's
epic.
go with a blue, like a nice blue, like a navy blue.
Yeah, man. So you just change here. It's nice blue.
Ooh.
So basically, you guys are just gonna test stuff out, and you guys are gonna do type of designs on your own, and eventually, you guys will learn how to do these unique designs. It's not really difficult to do these designs. It's just it takes time to do certain ones. So, for example, I'll open some stuff I've done, just so we can. We'll keep it Star Wars based because that's all we're going to be working on mostly. We'll open the CMP armor that I did recently.
Ew.
Oh, this is actually the Trooper one. I just labeled it wrong.
Ew. Look at that. It's so terrible.
Yeah, anyway, so what I did was I used the CT helmet that was already made in game, since why it looks a little bad here, but I don't give a fuck. They told me it looks okay, so cool. I did my job. No, I'm just kidding. I was told to not have the baboon butt because I didn't want it, so whatever. But the way how to do these certain, basically you can tell what I did. So I erased with this alpha, then I placed this alpha with a red color, and same thing goes here. Place the alpha and erase the alpha. Then I drew this, which took a little while, but you draw it, and then you just paint. Sometimes you just gotta paint these designs, so sometimes you have to freehand it, which isn't fun, but you have to freehand this shit sometimes. This you don't have to, you could just polygon that, but a lot of times you have to eyeball it, so you have to know if it looks good, it looks ass, and you gotta redo it, shit like that. So, seeing here in the middle of the wolf, a lot of people didn't notice that, oh, I have these weathering effects, but I had to draw in the eyes here to make it look decent, And a lot of people get kind of angry if I add weathered effects, so I don't tend to add them as much as
I
used
like
to.
them personally. I like the
I
sketches and the
like them a
weathering.
lot too. So actually, I will show you guys how to do a weathering effect real quick. We'll do it on the gray because there's more gray. So what you do is you add a folder, put that in the folder, and then you apply multiply in the folder so it has the proper shade. You add a bitmap mask, and then you look. I like grunge. Grunge has some good shit to it. Whoa, that's a lot of grunge there. It's because the balance isn't set up properly. And it's also the wrong type of grunge I wanted. So, you know what I do? Just get rid of it. I didn't mean to do that. Oof. You gotta go to a different bitmap. So we'll do... You'll find out some grunge doesn't work and some works better than others. So that's a little bit of better weathering. We'll put invert on, see if that helps. That doesn't look perfect, right? You gotta add
No.
stuff yourself, right? So what I like to do is So I gotta freehand a lot of the shit because I know what I want, but the program doesn't always know what I want. You eating my cake, baby? I already ate like a good portion of it.
I know.
And look at that. I have some weather shit. Oh, I'm gonna add some more. Wow, it's that easy, man. Sometimes you find out what looks good, and sometimes you say, that doesn't look good at all. You know, it's a lot of trial and error. It's a lot of, like, work you gotta do. So, just keep in mind that, you know, you can't always get it perfect. So what I'm gonna do is, I don't want this to have a grunge effect or weather type look to it.